Hello everyone, this is Ben, and in this video what we're going to do is address a simple question. If you're going to go to heaven anyway, if God's forgiven you for your sins and you're going to go to heaven anyway, then why obey God? Why obey the commandments? Why not just sin as much as you want to? And so first, let's just take a quick look at some of the bad answers. The bad answers, are like, there's all kinds of churches and denominations and doctrines, that under the umbrella of Christianity that will just tell you, oh, well, if you sin, you won't go to heaven. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. I won't go into great detail, but let's just say that, like, the whole reason Jesus, like, died for your sins is because you're a sinner. So, like, it doesn't make sense for him to take that away because you're a sinner. Like, that's the whole reason he did it in the first place. Anyway, another bad answer you get is like worldly answers that would work even if you weren't a Christian, even if you were an atheist. So, like, people tell you, well, if hey girl, if you sleep around, you'll get pregnant and you won't have a good husband to help you raise the baby, or like, hey fella, if you go around fighting people, then you'll wind up in jail or beat up or dead or something, And it's like, that's all this, like, sage worldly advice. I'm not trying to, I mean, those are real issues, but, like, that's not particularly Christian. You could believe just about anything, and that would apply to you. So, like, here's the question. So, like, and then it doesn't work for, like, anything that you might get away with. So, like, that's saying, like, if you can get away with it, you can, of course, still do it if you can get away with the earthly consequences. But, like, where's God in that? Because God is 100%, you're not going to slip anything by him, right? So, like, so there's this question, like, okay, I'm forgiven of my sins, I'm going to heaven no matter what, then why obey God? What's the point of, obeying God? Why not sin as much as I can get away with? And some people might, be more of a risk taker. But, like, the response is actually astonishingly simple. What you're saying when you ask that question is, you're saying, there's stuff I want to do. Is it going to cost me anything else I want if I go do it? So, like, in other words, like, will God zap me with a lightning bolt, or take away my new car, or will it cost me too much money? In other words, you're looking at stuff that you want to do, and you know that God says not to do it, but you want to do it. And then you're saying, well, as long as God's not going to take away anything from me, and it's not going to affect anything that I want, then why can't I do this other sinful stuff that I want to do? Whatever it is, whether it's drinking and partying, and maybe you like whatever thing you have, fighting people, I don't know, drinking and fornicating, we can all think of stuff. Maybe it's just laziness, not doing the work that you're supposed to do. Whatever it is. Here's the question you have to ask yourself. What if what you want is not as good as obeying God? In other words, what if obeying God is actually better? And the point of obeying God is not because it gets you something out of it, but it's just because it's actually a good thing in and of itself. In other words, let's say that you like to go play football, or, you're like me and you like to skateboard, or, like, there's something you like to do. I'm sure maybe you like to fish, maybe you like to make clothes. There's something you like to do. And let's say somebody comes up to you and says, hey, you're not getting paid any money to do that. Why are you doing that? And you would say, well, yeah, but this is the thing I want to do. Like, I would pay money to do this. Like, I go make money at my job, and then, when I'm free, this is what I like to do, Yeah, I mean, at some point there has to be something that you just like, that you just enjoy, that you just value. And so What if obeying God is better, actually better than disobeying God? And you say, well, there's no way that's the case. There's no way that's the case. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe it is the case. Maybe we need to retrain how we think, or maybe we need God's help in retraining how we think. C.S. Lewis puts it like this. He says, we are far too easily pleased. He says we're like children who want to keep playing in the mud in a slum or a ghetto. And someone's telling us that, like, I'm offering you a vacation at the beach, or he said by the sea. A really nice vacation. But we don't even want to go because we can't conceive of that, because all we've ever done is just sit in the mud and play in the mud in a ghetto. And we can be offered a free beach vacation and we won't go because we don't have a concept of that. So, like, maybe we have to get a new vision for what's really awesome, and maybe it might take a while. Maybe there might be a process. But what if this is actually better? What if obeying God is actually better than all the sinful stuff that you want to do currently? What if it's going to take time for you to retrain how you see things, to get that new vision? You might actually realize that, hey, this is way better than that other stuff that I thought was better. You know? So, like, a way to think about this is, like, have you ever wanted to be a good person? I bet you have. I bet most people like to watch movies and TV, or read stories, or even tell each other stories, you know, or listen to stories, like, about heroes, about somebody who did the right thing. In fact, think about it this way. How many times have you been lazy and not done something you were supposed to do because you were watching a movie or something, and the movie was about somebody who, no matter how hard things were, they did the right thing? Why do you like that story? Why is that story so tempting to you to sit there and watch it, to the point that you're actually not going to, you know, go do some work or schoolwork or regular work that you're supposed to do, chores or something? Because you actually like goodness in obeying God. You got to get that vision. Maybe you need to watch that movie some more, and you watch it enough times, maybe you'll get the vision of what it's trying to tell you. Or maybe you could read a better story. If you start reading the New Testament, you might get that vision, you know? So, like, a way to think about it is like this, you know, in the Old Testament, in the book of Job, you have this guy Job, and he's a good guy, but he's super rich, and his life is awesome. And Satan tells God that, like, the only reason Job is a good person, God, is because you give him all this stuff. But if you take away the stuff, God, he'll curse you to your face. He doesn't love you, God. He just loves the stuff. And so here's the point. Yeah, Job was rich, but he also loved God. So Satan takes away the stuff, and Job refuses to curse God. He still loves God and still worships God and adores God. So, like, Job understood that God, the creator of all things, must be greater than everything he created. So everything you enjoy in this life, whatever it is you're enjoying, came from God. So God's greater than everything you're sinning and rejecting God for and disobeying God for. God's actually better than that stuff. And all of God's commandments of, you know, do this, don't do that, you know, all that stuff, it's just an expression of God's own personality and who God is. So, yeah, what if there is something better out there? What if you need some help retraining how you think? You know, and maybe that could come through reading some stories from the New Testament. You know, from the Bible, the stories about Jesus, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Give them a read and see if, and just open yourself up to the possibility that like these stories could retrain how you think. Thanks, and have a good day. Bye.